Hello everyone, thank you for stopping on my channel. So in this video we are going to carry on exploring and improving this Laravel inventory management system that we are contributing to, as this is open source project. So in the previous video we improved the categories as well as units, and now let's move on to the other tabs. So here we have suppliers and customers. Let's make them multi-user, meaning each user that is registered on the site should have their own suppliers as well as customers. So now you can see it's showing all of them. So we are gonna upgrade that and only allow my customers and my suppliers to be displayed. So let's go to the customer controller on index, or we can select all of them and add condition to, like where user id matches the currently logged in user, like this. And let's go inside and see what we have in here. Okay, so it's just checking it and then calling the customer table livewire component. Let's see what we have in customer table livewire class. Okay, so you can see it's again making another request. Let's upgrade this, but before that I think we can optimize this as well. Instead of getting all of them and like this, we can just call the count. It will like just count it instead of returning all of them in a query. And this condition should be applied here as well, and we can remove the query. Okay, so now let's see. Now I'm gonna refresh the page. Okay, there is an error. Let's see what we have here. Okay, this is not a property, it's a method. So let's just select all of them and update it accordingly. And the same goes here, it's a method. Okay, call to what is it called? Call to a member function empty on integer. Since this is an integer, we don't have to call this method. Okay, so you can see it's looking good. And I think we can do one thing. We can do the same for all of them. Like if I look at this controller, if I look at the other controllers, like we have supplier in this tab, so I'm gonna do the same for that one as well. Let me just copy this and go to supplier controller. You can see again it's calling this method all. So I'm gonna select all of them and pass this query, and instead of all we are gonna call the count method. And again here we don't need the as empty. And then going to the customer table, we have upgraded this, meaning we added this condition. Now we can look for the supplier table and upgrade this accordingly. Now let's do one thing. Let's open that in another tab so we can do the, like we can make sure that the changes that we made is working. So now you can see we can create a customer in here, and we can create a supplier here. Okay, so this is the supplier creation, and here we have type of supplier and bank, nothing dynamic. And then here we have bank, and both of them are static, so we can use pack filler. But before that we are going to make sure that the everything is looking good on the controller side. So here you can see we have the customer request controller. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so it's looking good, nothing to change in here. uh, Here you can see the it's checking the phone number and email should be unique. While we are like making this multi-user, multiple user can have email of the same, and it should not be a problem. The same goes for the supplier request. Let's have a look at that one. Supplier store supplier request, you can see we have the same unique on email. Remove that as well as remove the uniqueness from the phone number. Okay, so after that we can look at the controller method, and you can see it's calling create and passing request all, which is not a good idea at all. So we are going to explicitly call and pass all the parameters that are passed to this. And also we are going to pass the user id. And let's see if we have the uuid. You can see, so we are going to add uuid as well. And after that we can pass these fields. I'm gonna select all of them, or let's just copy and paste it, and we can call our request of this property and a semicolon. So for the photo we cannot do it like this. Okay, it's already updating it right here. So instead of this, what we can do is put it right here, and file Instead of making it like this, we can directly call the store method. So we can do something like, let's say we have dollar $file or dollar $image equals to empty string, and here we are going to assign dollar $image is equal to request of photo, and we can call the store method, and we can store it in the customers folder inside public directory in the storage. So it's going to store that, and here we can call the image. Then we have email, phone number, shop type, and then we have the account holder address should be like this. This is looking good. So let's import the str, and we are going to check everything for the same for the what is it called, the suppliers as well. Let's remove okay, let's upgrade this and call the create method and pass in array. The photo is stored in suppliers. Here we have user id. We can just copy and paste this from the customer and update the values accordingly. So let's go to supplier controller, and we have user id, we have a photo. Let's confirm that from the request, and you can see we have a photo. What information are unique in here? Bank name, address. This is the bank name, address. Then account number and account holder, and then after that we have type, then shop name. After that phone number, email, and those things are the same. So let's everything is the same. So let's just save this and see how it looks like on the UI and how it reflects. So I'm gonna use fake filler to fill the form and choose an image, submit the form. Okay, so it has been successful, but we don't see any query in here. Let's have a look at the customer. Okay, it should be like if not customers, then do that, or if like if it is not greater than zero, something like that. But the zero is always false, right? So we can add not, and we get to do the same for supplier. If not supplier, meaning if not one or two any number, then show that fetch. So it should list the item. You can see it has been listed, and we are gonna make adjustment here. But before that, let's use the pack filler in case of supplier, and let's choose an image as well. Okay, so there we go. Here we have the suppliers and the customers are loaded, but now you can see it's using the id. We have to update that, and the same for this one. So here you can see it's using the supplier of id. Instead of this, we can use the loop of index. It will start from 0, but if you want to start it from 1, you can add +1. But I like it to it's fine to be started from 0, and we are going to make the same change for the customer. So let's just call the loop index, and now you can see it's a 0. So let's go to edit, and you can see it's using an id. So instead of id, now we have a UUID, and you can see it's passing the whole object. Let's pass the UUID here as well as here as well as here on the delete as well. So let's go and handle that, and also we are going to do the same for let's do the same for the supplier of UUID like this. Now we can go to web.php. They are resources, so let's go to controller and see if they are gonna work the way we made that. So customer request, let's say UUID, and then customer equals to okay, pack, what is it called, the chat, and Copilot did it automatically for us. So we are going to do the same for the supplier as well. Let's go to show, and we are accepting a UUID, and then get the supplier with that UUID. Let's click on edit and see what happens. Okay, you found an error page, so seems like first or fail, which means this UUID has an issue. So let's dump that. Okay, we are on the wrong page. We should be here on the edit page. Let's do the same for this one, and do the same for the delete one as well. Also, this should be UUID on the update method, but we will be changing this later on. So but for now, let's just update it accordingly, and the same for the delete one. We don't want users to know like our someone else user id, right? It's easy to guess. Like if you see here, let's say you can see this is 16, right? Customer 6 on the bottom right, you can see here on this side. it's customer says slash 16 slash edit, right? So if I go to this page, I can go to 17 as well. We can add conditions on that as well, but it's not generally a good idea to have like IDs exposed. um, like you can directly guess the number of like items in this table from that number. So when you have a UUID, it's unique and raw string, so no one can guess it. So here, let's go to customer. For the show, we already did that. Let's go to edit. We are accepting UUID and just find that item with that UUID. The same for this one, $UUID, and find that one. The same for the destroy. Find pass the UUID and get the customer with that UUID. Okay, so let's refresh this page, and we are gonna refresh this one as well and go to the edit page. Okay, so on the suppliers edit page, you can see we have the information loaded, but something is wrong with the profile image. We are gonna look at that, and let's go to click on edit for this one as well. So let's go to the edit page and see what we got here. Okay, so here we are calling the update method. So instead of passing the whole object, let's just pass a UUID and do the same for the suppliers. So edit and supplier of UUID. Now here on the customer edit page, we have to make sure that the photo is displayed properly. It's calling something like here. It's directly in the storage, so this should work fine. Let's see what we got here in the if I did it, or we can directly view that here as well. Let's inspect this, and you can see suppliers slash suppliers. That's two times suppliers, so we can remove one. Let's just remove the customer, and from suppliers, let's just remove the suppliers. Okay, so you can see the image has been loaded, and the same for the suppliers. You can see supplier details and supplier details. This can be like edit supplier, but let's say it's fine for now. Let's just update the information and see if we can accept the post request on the first side. So let's just please like first make sure that everything is looking good, and it will work as expected. So it's gonna just call the supplier update and accept photo. Okay, so this means that again, like they request all kind of thing. But let's see what we got here. Okay, so it's checking for the uniqueness and types and banks. All the properties are validated. But if I pass again this thing request all, like request accept all items in the request except the photo, and pass it to this. We have ID, right? So if I like user ID, let's say if I pass the user ID, then it's gonna be updated, and this supplier will be moved to another user. So that's why we are gonna use the same thing as we used above. Okay, copilot fill the information for us. For the image, let's just move this above to this place. If the supplier photo exists, then unlink it. We don't have to put this, otherwise it will throw error. And then store as here. Again, we can call the store method directly, just like we did in the store, right? Here you can see. So I'm gonna just copy this, and here request file photo. If photo exists, then do that. Okay, so let's do it like this. I'm gonna remove this thing. Let's move this variable above, and the default value will be the request on the image, the existing photo, like this. And if the photo exists, then it's gonna update the value, and also we don't have to add this condition. We can directly like put this value to that, and it's gonna update the value. Where is the image? Okay, let's do that. Okay, so there we go, request update. Also we can explicitly pass each value as well, and I like that method, so it's fine this way as well. But now let's have a look at the update suppliers, update supplier controller, customer controller. Okay, so we were in the supplier, now we are in the customers. Okay, so here first checking the photo. Where am I? Okay, there we go. Let's just delete everything. Copilot has to help us code this. Okay, there we go. Image is equal to that, and image, and just to make sure, let's create an empty image variable, assign empty value to it. or we can directly assign the default value. So we can like remove the else condition from there. Copilot did a good job in here. Okay, so also let's see customer, let's remove this. This type thing, you can see we are just getting storing whatever we getting from the UI, but we can add like constants and only specific values to this as well. But that's not something we are gonna do now. So let's just update the user information. Let's say Joe, and update customer. Okay, there is an error here, UUID, and here it's accepting the ID, but we are passing the UUID, right? Let's confirm that. Okay, so yeah, this should be UUID. By default, it's gonna get the ID, pass the ID to that post method. Okay, foot method, not post method. Let's have a look at the edit suppliers. Okay, we are passing the UUID to the post output update method. Let's see if we got everything looking. Let's say John. Again, there is an issue. I think we gotta refresh the page before we submit the form. Also, let's change the supplier details to supplier edit supplier. So edit supplier here, and here for customer update page, we already have edit customer. Do we have it here? Customer details. Am I on? Okay, this is another one. This should be, where is that one? Okay, customer details. This should be edit customer. Okay, that is looking good. Let's update the values. Let's say Bob, and submit this form and change this to Joe and update this. Okay, we got invalidation error. Phone number already taken, and I think we don't need to confirm that this should be unique, because like if I want to add someone, and maybe for some reason I have to put duplicates in it, I'm gonna remove this, and if you want you can have it. Update customer, remove these rows from here, and let's submit the form again, and submit the form again in here. Okay, we got an error here, and on customers we got successfully updated the name, but I think I made some mistake here on the supplier. This should be looking good. Let's submit the form again. Okay, there we go, the name has been updated for suppliers as well. Now let's we already I think updated the this thing. Are you sure? And yeah, and then let's view the view page. Okay, and the same here, these pages are identical, so that's why we are doing them on the same time. Okay, so on view customer everything look good, but profile image is missing. And also one thing I noticed is here is that, like you can see, customer slash and then the ID, right? So why not show the name? And there is nothing like that for the supplier detail, but the images are missing, so let's just load them. Let's go to customer slash show, and here preview image. Okay, so you can see it's just loading the image without like getting the actual image from the database. So we already have it here, so I'm gonna just copy this value into that one. It's checking if the photo exists, then just put the photo, otherwise put the empty one. And we are gonna do the same for the supplier. So let's go to suppliers dash show, and update this accordingly, but the variable here is supplier, not customer. We just have to update the variable name, and everything should work fine, except we are gonna make sure that this on the customer we saw this thing that is um, loading customer name. Where is that thing? I'm looking for this thing, uh, customer slash and then UUID. Okay, I think it's this one. So let's see what we got inside this. Okay, there seems to be like menu kind of thing as well. And then it's request bar, breadcrumbs and segments. I think it's just getting these things from the URL. So then let's leave that, but let's add it from there for that one as well. So I'm gonna go to show and copy. Let's just copy this container and put it here on the suppliers show page body. Above page body, we can put this thing. Customer is not in here, it's supplier and supplier. So let's refresh the page. It should be here on the supplier as well. Okay, everybody, so you can see we have successfully upgraded the suppliers and customers, And here we have the edit button. Let's just fix those quickly. On show there is an edit button. We have to make sure that it's correct. Also, if we look at this, okay, this is fine. This is fine. um, for the this thing, I'm going to call the UUID so that it's not showing the ID, and the same for the customer edit. And also we have a back button here but not in that one. Why is that? So let's just put the back button in there as well. I'm gonna put this above this edit button and customer.index. So instead of this, it's gonna be suppliers.index. Refreshing the page for suppliers. Okay, so there we go, we have the suppliers button back, and let's click on it. And for customers we already have the back button. So okay, so there we go, that is all for this video. We upgraded the pages section. Of course we are going to change this name later on because it doesn't make any sense. Either we will put all these in one row, something like that, so that it's easy to like find the things that we need. So that is it for this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It helps a lot and motivate us to keep continuing recording videos for YouTube and contributing to these open source projects. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.